In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 8 best courier apps in Australia that you can use today to start earning money. I'm going to give you the inside tips on how you can maximize your income. If you follow these steps, you will earn more money. So there are 4 key benefits of becoming an independent courier. 1, you don't have to be sitting at a desk. 2, you get to work when you want. 3, you don't have an annoying boss. And finally, number 4, you don't need to invest in large amounts of capital to get up and running. Okay, so let's get started. So the first app we're going to talk about is Zoom to You. Now, obviously I want to start with Zoom to You because I'm the founder of the Zoom to You. And you're probably thinking, well, maybe I'm going to be a little bit biased towards the Zoom to You platform. So I'm going to try and give you all the information that I possibly can about all of these apps. And I know you may think Zoom to You, I might be a bit biased for it, but I think what you can also take from this is that I know a lot about everyone that's in this marketplace because I've studied all of them and I've spent a lot of time, and I probably spent more time than what most people have of understanding exactly who all the players are across Australia. So let's start off with Zoom to You. Zoom to You, I founded back in 2014. We've got, thousands of couriers that are on our platform, and one of the big differences between our platform and many of the others that are out there is we do lots of work for a large number of companies. We have some bigger clients, but we also have lots and lots of SMEs that use us to move documents around or small parcels. And because there's lots of these smaller customers, a lot of the value of the bookings are actually much higher than what you noticed on some of the other platforms. The other thing on Zoom to You is that we have a bid function, and so customers can be able to place a request for a booking and you can actually bid on that work. And so this is a great way of being able to capture that additional income. You might sort of get some larger bids for larger types of work. And so you can see on our platform, we do really small parcels right through to some really large items. And so if you're driving a van or if you're even in a larger truck, the opportunity to pick up some really large work is really available there. We also don't just do local deliveries, we also do some longer deliveries that might be even a few hours outside of the CBD. We also do some interstate work, and we have a number of larger sort of corporate clients that use the platform where you can pick up a run of work. And this will be where you go to a particular location and you're picking up 20 parcels, sometimes even up to 80 parcels in one go. Customer service is available through the Zoom to You platform. You can live chat. There's also a phone number available, so you do get that really great assistance if you do have any questions. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about Zoom to You. If you want to find out more information, you can go to our website, zoomtoyou.com.au. You can sign up as a driver and it goes through an onboarding process, and it's pretty simple to actually get up and running. Next platform I'm going to talk to you about is Sherpa. So Sherpa's been around sort of a similar time. I think they came out just after Zoom to You started, so probably 2015. They're actually part owned by Woolworths. So not a lot of people know this, but they're actually part owned by Woolworths. I think Woolworths owns about 20% of the company, and they do a lot of work, obviously, for Woolworths. So they do Dan Murphy's deliveries, BWS, which are all companies that are owned by Woolworths. And so this is a lot of alcohol deliveries. And so you'll notice they'll have lots of alcohol deliveries coming through, particularly in a short distance traveling from those retail stores. They have a number of other retailers and do a lot of work for a number of larger retailers, as well as doing some ad hoc work for a lot of ad hoc customers. My guess is their customer base is much smaller than the Zoom to You customer base, but they do have some really big customers on their platform. I don't think they do the bid work like we do at Zoom to You, but they do operate across most of the major capital cities across Australia, and maybe some of those more regional areas. They've been able to leverage the Dan Murphy's and BWS network to be able to get into some of those areas like Tasmania and more regional areas, which even in Zoom to You we actually don't operate in those areas. You can go to the website sherpa.net.au, so not the .com, so it's .net.au, and you can sign up for a driver. They go through an onboarding process. You download the app. Very similar to what you see inside of a Zoom to You. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about is GoPeople. GoPeople started also a similar time to the Zoom to You and also to Sherpa. And one of the differences that they offer is you can get paid on an hourly basis on the GoPeople network. They do a lot of work for florists, and so if you're wanting to get into some consistent work with florists and you've got the capacity, generally probably want to be in a van if you're doing a lot of florist type stuff. You probably want to have a bit of a structure in terms of how you're going to hold flowers and being able to do that type of work. GoPeople is a great option to be on. They've got a customer base that do a lot of ad hoc work as well. They operate across all the major capital cities, and simple for a driver to actually sign up and use their platform. Okay, the next one is Drive Yellow. And so Drive Yellow is available in all the major capital cities. They do a lot of work as well for Woolworths, and they do deliveries for Dan Murphy's. They also, I think they do some grocery type work as well. And so Again, a lot of these alcohol deliveries and grocery deliveries, they're generally within a short radius. You're generally picking up multiple shipments in one go, like in those particular areas, and yeah, and so it works well. With Drive Yellow, they typically work with companies, from what I gather from looking at their website, where you go and sign up and you go through a bit of an onboarding process. It's not dealing with in the same way that Zoom2U operates, where we deal with lots of ad hoc customers and lots of small businesses. They don't have that same sort of platform on the Drive Yellow side of things. Okay, so that gives you, the four of the, probably those are the larger platforms that are available in Australia, and you can actually join all four of these and be able to do multiple bookings across multiple platforms. We actually were testing a few weeks ago, the speed of how each of these platforms actually operated, and we had a driver where we placed a booking for GoPeople, but also on the Sherpa network, separate companies, but the same driver picked up the two parcels. And so drivers definitely, go across these multiple networks, and I would encourage drivers to think about doing that, because that's definitely a way of being able to maximize your income. Okay, so the next couple that I'm going to talk about is you've got Uber, and you've also got DoorDash, and you've also got 13 Cabs. Now, these are all primarily have been around doing delivery of people, so being a taxi type service, but now they're actually being able to do delivery of parcels. And in the Uber's business, they do, generally it's smaller parcels. They don't have a van network like we do in the Zoom2U business, and so it's smaller parcels. There's a lot of consumer type stuff that goes through, but they also have some retail customers that they're working with as well. Retail networks where they're delivering in a short radius from those retail stores. One thing I think that we see in the Uber side of things, but also in the 13 Cabs, oftentimes those drivers actually don't get out of their vehicles. And so if you're driving as an Uber driver, that might be more, you might enjoy doing that better, doing that in 13 Cabs or, with DoorDash. I think the expectation on some of these other platforms like Zoom2U is that you're definitely going to the front door to pick up those parcels, which may be different in those other networks. So one of the good things about being an Uber driver is that obviously, and same with DoorDash, is that you're traveling all over these different locations across the city. And at the same time you're doing that passenger delivery, you could be picking up a Zoom2U or a Sherpa booking and be having that parcel in the boot, deliver that person, and then go off and actually do that delivery. So being able to run multiple deliveries at the same time, whether it's a person or a parcels, is a way of being able to maximize your income. And so I touched on 13 Cabs. 13 Cabs, taxi drivers driving as a taxi are also be able to pick up parcels. We've seen that really was used really heavily through the COVID period. They've done some work with Woolworths, I've seen, but also other providers out there as well. But I sort of get the feeling now that we're in a post-COVID world, I think they're being used less for delivery. The taxi drivers are back to operating and delivering people, and I think they'd much rather doing that than delivering the parcels. And that's just what I've seen in terms of seeing taxi drivers in front of retail stores. And just speaking generally to different taxi drivers as I've gone through and done my own bit of research. The final platform that's available in Australia right now is Amazon Flex. So this is where you're turning up to an Amazon warehouse. You're picking up usually 20 to 50, maybe 80 parcels in one go, and grabbing that run and doing that delivery. The great thing about this is you select the shift that you're wanting to actually do. They'll tell you how much you're going to get paid for that particular shift. You turn up to the warehouse, you grab all the items, scan them in, and you're on your way, and you just follow your route to actually go and do those deliveries. Now, the disadvantage in doing an Amazon delivery is you're really having to do that route the entire way. It's probably going to be quite difficult to multi-load for more expensive deliveries, and the value of each of those individual deliveries is going to be substantially less than when you're doing sort of some of these more ad hoc deliveries. But you do know at the beginning of that run, you've got this much income, you're going to earn all that income throughout that period. And so, at least you might want to mix up, your general working on Zoom2U, working on Sherpa or GoPeople, and then doing, an Amazon shift in the afternoon or swapping around in the morning. It's probably a way of being able to top up your earnings throughout the week. Amazon really want to make sure that they're controlling that delivery experience. In the early days, they were using Australia Post, but now they're really running that network themselves. And so I suspect there's a lot more volume in the Amazon network than what there was, a few years ago. So at the beginning of this video, I said I was going to teach you about all the tools that you need to maximize your income. So here it comes. So first off, there's a number of different tools that you need. Simple things like having a trolley. You'd be surprised how many drivers don't have a trolley, and the benefit that a trolley allows you to do is going to save you huge amounts of time. There's going to be times when you turn up to a location, the customer tells you that there's 3 parcels, but actually there's 8. Having a trolley is going to make it a million times easier to load those all down through the lift, down into your car, and get that packed away. It's going to save you the multiple trips. That's all time that's going to be wasted by doing multiple trips. If you can load that onto a trolley, get it done into your vehicle, then it's going to save you time. It doesn't need to be expensive. You can go to Bunnings, $20, $50, you'll get a trolley that's going to be really inexpensive. Second thing is basics around having a mobile phone charger. You're going to be using your phone a lot. You're going to be using Google Maps to get directions. Without a phone charger, your battery's going to die. You're not going to be able to earn any income. Next thing is simple things around safety. You need a safety vest. You're going to want to have safety shoes. If you're going into any of these really large corporate warehouses, make sure that you're going to have safety vests, you're going to have safety shoes. Really basics around safety. Okay, and now finally is what you really want to think about doing is don't just sign up for one app. Okay, that's the biggest mistake that I see a lot of drivers do, where they rely heavily on one particular platform where they're going to get all their income from. And that's, if that company was to die or run out of work or lose one of their big clients, then you're going to lose your income. So don't rely on just one platform, rely on many platforms. Okay, so if you're going to rely on many platforms, you're probably going to need some tools that are going to help you to be able to manage multiple bookings across multiple platforms. Now, what I would suggest doing is you want to have a separate tool independent of whether you're using Zoom2You or Sherpa or Uber. You want to have a separate tool that you can use that you can easily plug in the addresses of all the shipments that you're actually going to deliver and the locations, and so that you can do things like route optimization. Because you're going to have to figure out, okay, if you're running multiple apps, it's going to become a little bit more tricky. You probably want to consider having multiple phones. Just get some cheaper Android devices that are newer, so they're faster. You don't want to get an older device because it's going to make it really slow for you to actually run some of these apps. These apps do use up a lot of power. They do use up a lot of GPS and processing power. So making sure you do have a newer phone is going to help. So switching back, you're going to need an app. You're going to be able to want to enter in your bookings into a central app. And one of those apps is something that we actually have developed as well. It's called Locate to You. It's a free app. It's available on the App Store right now. And you can go in there and you can enter in the many addresses that you need to enter in. You can put in the time window you need to do those deliveries, and it will automatically give you the route in which you can actually follow to actually complete those bookings. This will build the route for you automatically. It will optimize it and continuously change it throughout the day so you can make sure that you're traveling in the most efficient route to get your deliveries done inside of the time window, independent of which platform you're actually on. And this is one of the best ways that you can maximize your earnings. Now, I've seen many couriers today who sign up to Zoom2You and they just find it too hard. They earn a few $100s a week and they leave. I've seen many couriers that have also signed up to Zoom2You who've spent many months, if not years, on the platform and now earn over $1,500, sometimes over $2,000 a week. That's over $10,000 in a month, being a Zoom2You driver. The way they've done this is that they've been, provided a great experience for their customers. They get a lot of repeat work. One of the things on the Zoom2You platform that most people don't realize is that customers have the ability to set up a preferred driver. Now, I'm not sure whether these other platforms have that as well, but definitely on the Zoom2You platform, we have that available. And so when you do great work for a customer, then that customer can set you up as preferred. You get the bookings when they come through first before anyone else does. And this is how a lot of our drivers have been able to earn additional income and be able to maximize the amount of money that they're actually earning on a weekly basis. Now, one of the ways in which they've gone and got to become a preferred courier is they've just done some really simple things. They've walked into a location and they don't, sit there talking on their phone. They don't not smile at the person. They actually go to the person they're picking it up, say, hey, how's your day going? I'm from Zoom2You, or I'm from DoorDash, or I'm from Sherpa, and I'm here to pick up your delivery. And they grab the parcel and say, don't worry, I'll look after this parcel for you. I'll make sure it gets there on time. That 2-second conversation adds huge amounts of value to your credibility and the likeliness of that customer wanting to say, I want that courier again. I don't want the courier who doesn't actually say hello to me, who doesn't actually smile, doesn't look friendly, or who might actually not even present themselves very, very nicely. Those little things make a huge difference. And whether that's being a courier or just generally in life, presenting in a professional manner really adds value and means that you're going to earn additional things. I've seen many careers where they've got to know people inside of a business, they've had the ability of being able to connect with that person and been offered jobs to work inside different businesses. You never know the person that you're picking up that parcel from. You're never sure of what could actually result in doing that delivery successfully. So, really think about your interactions and how you're interacting with customers, and I'm sure this will have an impact on your earning capacity. So, to summarize, the things that I'd be thinking about: making sure you got the right tools, making sure that you present nicely, you smile to your customers, but also run across multiple platforms. Multiple platforms is the simplest way to be able to maximize your income. And to do that, you're going to need a tool, and whether it's using the locate to your product or using another route optimization engine to be able to then, be able to put all those bookings into a single view so you can actually see exactly what's happening, is going to be the best way to maximize your income. I'm sure that you'll get there to be able to earn over that $2,000 a week and get to that $10,000 a month very, very quickly, just by being an independent courier in one of these platforms across Australia. So if you got value from the video, please give it a like, and in the description of the video, I've listed out all the information of the number of things that I've covered here, so it gives you all the links to be able to go and take action today. That's the best thing I find, is that taking action, getting going, and I hope it's really added lots of value for you.